we seen people kind of looking like zombies downtown. I ain't gonna say a whole bunch of people, but I seen like a person or two that looked like they were strung off on some drugs. Shalom YouTube family, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the family. In today's video, we'll be giving you guys a few of the things we don't like so much about South Africa. Also on this channel, we'll be traveling throughout the continent to show you the real Africa. So if you like this type of content, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's go. Disclaimer, we talked about this first thing already, but it's probably the most annoying thing, so we're gonna get right into it. First thing is load shedding. So if you're not staying in a place that has a backup generator or something like that, load shedding can be pretty annoying. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty bad. Because if you have to work like online like we do, you kind of need electricity. It's just one of those things. And another thing to go with that, it seems like in certain places, certain Airbnbs we stayed in, that the Wi-Fi wouldn't always work even when it wasn't load shedding. So that was a huge issue for us and a hindrance when we were trying to work online. Right, absolutely. With the electricity coming on and off, it does make electrical devices act funny. So sometimes you have to reset things or something, even once it does come back on. It's just a hassle. The next issue we're going to get into is water, or loss of water, should I say. That's one thing that we didn't know happened here in South Africa. Now, we've stayed in Johannesburg for most of the time, but it's at least 4 or 5 times where we didn't have any water in the house. And we know it's a common thing because when we got to the Airbnb, she had water. Yeah, they had a bunch of like 5-liter jugs of sink water on the counter. And she was like, oh, that's for in case the water goes out. And we're like, okay. And also we seen that they have scheduled water outages, just like it is with the load shedding. So some people we've seen that didn't have water for a week at a time. It was something crazy. Right, it went off when we didn't expect it one time. And so we Googled it, and the website that came up that was showing the water, it literally was saying some places were out for days, some for out, just crazy amounts of time. But it was very random, to say the least. But that's something that we really don't like too much. Next up, we're gonna talk about Uber. So one of the things that we notice is if you're not going on like a really long ride that costs a lot, they don't wanna pick you up. Like when we came back from Cape Town, the Ubers kept canceling and we ended up getting a ride from a lady who was in the parking lot, and she was literally like, if you're not going far, they're not gonna pick you up. And it's so true. Anytime that we're going somewhere farther, like we were going to Cradle of Humankind, somebody picks that up immediately. They want that money. But if it's a short distance, they're not trying to go. And we've had multiple drivers pick us up, tell us that. Like one guy was like, yeah, I've been making money all day because nobody picks up these rides, so I just keep doing these short ones. And he was getting that bread, so. If you're an Uber driver, please listen to us. You can make money doing short stops also. If you do a bunch of those, you probably can make more money and then do a long one in the same day. So please, guys, come pick us up. We need rides. You have to think, how many people are doing short distance, long distances anyway? Like you might get 1 or 2 of those in a day. If you don't take any short rides, you're not gonna make any money. Like don't you drive for a living? It doesn't make sense. I wouldn't leave no money on the table if I was an Uber driver. So that's one thing that's a little strange. So. Absolutely. And that's going to bring us right into our next topic, which is professionalism. Now, we've dealt with some companies and people that we just hired to come like clean. And it seems like they don't really too much care about your time. Now, I'm not going to say this is every company or anybody that you're trying to hire, but just a couple of people that we've hired either said they were going to show up at a certain time and didn't come, or just didn't show up at all. Like, it's crazy because you would think if the economy is the way it is and people don't have jobs and money, you would think people want to come work and not have any issues when it comes to being on time. But that's not the case here for some reason. And we do know there are extenuating circumstances. Sometimes something happened, but at least call and be like, yeah, I can't make it. Didn't even call to make sure. You know, because we're cool. Like if somebody says, oh, even like here at this Airbnb, the lady will call and be like, oh, well, this happened, or I'm gonna need to come over there. Or can somebody go? I'm just like, okay. I don't care. So the fact that they don't even say, hey, I'm not coming, that's annoying. If you tell me you're not coming, I'm good. Yeah, but they literally had a guy that said they was going to show up at like 9 to 10, end up coming like 4 or 5 hours later after saying he was like 30 minutes away. I'm like, dude, at this point, it don't even make sense for you to come.
Right, and it's kind of like just let you know, because like even in America, when you're waiting for somebody, they tell you and they give you this large ass window. They're like, we'll be here anywhere from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you know you can't go nowhere because they don't know when they're coming. Like at least do that so that you know it's waiting, because they'll say it like they're coming now. I'll be here in 20 minutes, and 5 hours later you show up. That's just ridiculous.
So I would say customer service needs a little work out here.
Yeah, it could be a little better. So the next thing we're going to talk about is food. So I would say, you know, y'all have watched and saw that we said the food is good, and it is good. It tastes good. But I feel like it's more like America than other countries that we've been to. Like when we were in Tanzania and in Kenya, the stuff was just, I would say, more fresh.
Yeah, it's fresher.
Since we've been here, we noticed everything comes prepackaged, even like bananas. The bananas will be broken into single bananas and packed in a box and wrapped in plastic. Like it's strange. And then too, like we went to a restaurant and I think I got lemonade. The lemonade is not lemonade at all. It's a can of some kind of lemon soda. Like it's not, it's just, when you order stuff like that in Tanzania, it's actual juice. In Kenya, it's actual juice. So,
And it's just crazy because we like the convenience of like the shopping, like grocery stores and stuff like that. But we also miss the fresh fruits at like local markets and stuff from like Kenya, well, I would say more so Tanzania, where we can get fresh fruits and vegetables that way because it seems to be a lot more fresh.
Right, you can feel the difference when you eat food that's like more organic and not, because you can get more sluggish and stuff if the food is not to that same quality. So you do notice it in your body. And I've noticed it in my allergies. Y'all are always commenting, oh, my nose is stopped up. Yeah, it gets worse if I eat worse. When I was in America, it was bad. It started clearing up in Tanzania. We got out here, my nose is stopped up every day. So there you go.
Now the next thing we don't like so much is the cold. Now before arriving, we knew that it gets a little cool here, but I didn't know that it gets to be like 30 degrees or 30-some degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but Fahrenheit, which is really, really cold to me. I'm thinking when people say cold, it's gonna be like 50s, high 40s, but it actually gets cold. And being in Africa, I'd rather, you know, it'd be more warm.
Right, we actually I had to buy a jacket, and we had to buy some more like cold weather stuff for the baby because we were in Tanzania. It wasn't that cold. When we went to Kenya, it was a little cool, but it wasn't even enough to just get a jacket. But here it's been cold.
And obviously that's not everywhere in South Africa. We hear places like Durban is a lot warmer, which is a good thing. So you do have those options here, but being in like Johannesburg and Cape Town where we visited, it was cold, like really, really cold both places. So if you're a person that's coming, be prepared if you're in the winter to need some winter clothes for sure.
And just piggybacking off of that, it's also really dry. The cold makes the air is dry. Your skin gets really, really dry.
I'm talking about my lips.
Your lips, my hair is dry. Like everything just gets so much more dry. It's so cold and there's not a lot of moisture in the air.
So that leads me to say, please, we've heard about this from our South African subscribers and family. So Zambuk, if your lips are ashy or dry, this is not promotion, by the way. Please get some of this because this has worked wonders for us.
It really does work. When we first got it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm happy we got that. Because people told us, and I was thinking it was like lip balm, and I think we were in Pick and Pay. And I was looking and I found it and it said ointment, and I was like, what is this? So I asked the guy and he was like, oh yeah, you can use it on your lips, you use it for everything. I was like, oh, cool. But it works.
Now the last thing we want to talk about, which is a bummer, is people using harder drugs here. Now in Johannesburg, we didn't see it too much just because we didn't hang out like in downtown areas or where you could see that. But in Cape Town, we seen people kind of looking like zombies downtown. I ain't gonna say a whole bunch of people, but I seen like a person or two that looked like they were strung off on some drugs. Kind of how you would see in America, and it didn't look good, and it was unfortunate that that was the case. We actually rode with somebody, one of the Uber drivers, that said people do crack here. I don't know if that's a fact.
Right, he was saying, there's like always crackheads out there. And someone said something like that in our comments too.
But if you're doing crack in 2023, like that's not even a big thing in America. So they doing crack here, it's like,
well, the thing about it is, I do think it has to do with the fact that like weed is legal here too. Because in America, it's like when other things are done, you know how they say weed's a gateway drug? I don't think it is, but I think people sometimes want to get higher, and then if there's something else, then they're going to take that something else.
Yeah.
So it can end up worse. Like in America, they got that zombie drug out there, flesh eating, whatever.
There's always some new drugs in America, but to see it in Africa, it kind of sucks, you know?
Right.
Because every other country we've traveled to,
you can't even smoke weed.
Yes, we haven't seen anybody on drugs.
Right.
Nobody was on drugs that we've seen. So to see it here, it's kind of heartbreaking.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's sad to see that it made its way over here to South Africa. So if something can be done about that, please, guys, do it immediately.
Get off the dope.
Yeah. And with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it. Overall, we love South Africa as a whole, and there's so many beautiful things, but we feel like it's up to us to be honest about every single experience, even if it's negative. So we want to say thank you so much for watching this all the way through, and we love you, family. And as always, shalom.
Shalom.